Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is the first day of March, which means spring's around the corner. With us today, we have Mr. Harvey Freed. Good morning, Harvey. Harvey's all pumped up today, everybody. Just want to let you know, very passionate today. Good morning, Harv.
Yeah, Harry, we got to help clean up our industry and keep it where people make affordable housing and make it easy for families to get mortgages. Absolutely.
Well, we hope that that's the case. Harvey is the host of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning on 97.1 FM here in Detroit from 9 to 10 a.m. Along with Harvey from Capital Mortgage Funding is Mr. John Kolb. Good morning, John.
Good morning, everyone.
Appreciate you being here. And our special guest, Nick Culte from Quest Realty, Michigan Realtor. Nick going to be talking about the national market, but more specifically, I'm going to hone in on what I call a fragmented market right now here in Michigan. Welcome, Nick Culte.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
And I also see we are joined by Lisa Lawson, Miss Lisa Lawson, the queen of Macomb County, the Google of the office. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Morning, everybody.
I see that crown around your head, Lisa. Great crown to be the queen of Macomb County.
I wish, right?
Yeah. Harvey's the king of Wixom.
There you
So
go.
I just thought I'd let you know. There you
A lot of
go.
royalty happening here today.
Got to be the king of something, right, John?
Jack of trades.
Yeah, Jack. And joining us also, looks like we have a full panel. I see coming on the podcast right now, connecting to audio, it says, is Miss Becky Alley, top 1% of all mortgage originators in the United States. Becky, can you hear me yet?
Yes, I can hear you.
There she is. Hi, Beck.
Hi.
All right, going to jump right into it. So, theme of the podcast, it is March 1st. Spring is right around the corner. Officially March 20th, it says on the calendar, but in Michigan and parts up in the North Country, spring won't be here until probably August. So, but in any event, that's not going to stop home buying season here in Michigan. Really passionate about our area because there's conflicting reports. So I've typified this and put a label on it that it's a fragmented market. Here in Michigan, the market is strong. Regional strength is a big focus because guess what? National news came out. Nationally, new home sales are rising as prices are dropping nationally. Well, guess what? Prices actually fell nationally 0.8%. So that's a crazy low number. So why spark a controversy when it's such a low number? Because it's news. I say it's news and really off 1.1 adjusted seasonally. Come on, everybody. What's everybody getting so bent out of shape about, Nick Culte?
Yeah, truly. We're starting to see multiple offers. I mean, we're still low inventory. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, so I have to have the conversation with them about what's going on. As we head into a new market, I do think we're going to see, obviously, like normal, a lot more buyers. And right now, it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, our market's still strong. We are seeing multiple offers on homes right now. I've had to have the conversation about going over asking, maybe not like all bells and whistles like the past couple of years have been. But it is a very strong market, and keeping buyers informed is like very key right now, and knowing what they're heading into.
It is a very strong market around here. So I want to focus on around here. People are reading the national publications. They read the national headlines. They're sensationalized. Of course, in the big cities where prices went up dramatically, 20, 25%, 27.7%, increases in appreciation, equity going through the roof. Of course, in those areas, the West Coast, LA, up and down, Washington, Seattle, for example, even down in Arizona. Of course, they're going to be the first places to go ahead and decrease, Becky Alley, because they were the first to increase. Around here, we're not seeing that.
Well, what really is the decrease, right? Are you talking like now it's 3% appreciation versus the 20% that we're coming off of? I mean, really, what is that number? I definitely think in Michigan, it's also sensationalized, and it's definitely micro where you're going to see these increases depending on the city. So for example, I have a buyer that's looking in the Northfield Plymouth area and they're going 40 over asking and they're still losing. Then you have some that are in the Downriver area and they can still possibly squeak in some concessions, but I'm in a really competitive situation on a house that's in Lincoln Park right now, and they're probably going to go over asking. So every home is different. Every unique buyer situation is different, just like every city is different. Every state is different. If you're looking in New York or North Carolina, those properties are going really fast, but then they're also sitting a little bit. I mean, so you definitely have to make sure that you're in line with someone that knows what's happening in those specific areas, but also someone that can reach across the aisle and make those negotiations happen, because everyone has a reason. The sellers have a bottom line, and it's just trying to make sure our buyers fit in that pocket without having to lose. We want to make sure that our buyers are checking some boxes too.
Yep, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Equal housing under 2289 is our MLS number for those of you in compliance. Also, Lisa Lawson, being the queen of Macomb County. Listen, Macomb County is going gangbusters. We know new construction is up there. It's down in other parts of our state. Bottom line is Macomb County is still hot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, new construction is always hot in Macomb County. There's still a lot of space to build, a lot of new construction, great builders out there making great subdivisions. And, I think that isn't probably going to change. It may slow down a tiny, tiny bit. But it's definitely a hot market out in Macomb County. I myself built new construction many years ago. You get to pick exactly what you want in those homes. You get to make it exactly what you want. And I think that appeals to a lot of people. And I think that's why it's still hot. That and some people didn't want to participate in last year's bidding wars and going over asking. So a lot of those people, after looking all summer, said, hung their hat and said, you know what, we're going to build. Well, they decided to do that in the fall. So their homes are still under construction. They're getting ready to be done here fairly soon. So yeah, it's still real busy out there.
Yeah, hey, Harvey Freed, we're in what's called a fractured market. I'm terming it as a fractured market. What is a fractured market? There are some areas of the country, and specifically our area, some areas of the country, our second best state is Florida. Florida is actually running higher. The home prices in Florida and the sales are actually higher than they are in other parts of the country, like the West Coast. Specifically here in our area, there are certain areas. Huntington Woods, for example, is hot. The Woodward Corridor is hot. Certain areas of Birmingham, not all of Birmingham, there are a lot of listings coming on, but there are also some pockets that are extremely hot. Harvey, what are you seeing in the area? While some areas are getting weaker, some areas are remaining strong.
Yeah, I think most of the areas are remaining strong, and affordability is what scares some of the buyers off. Now, so if this interest rate thing drops, now we're going to have competition is going to increase. And Becky is just giving you some real information out there where she's working with some buyers, and the buyers I'm working with, they just paid 15 or 20,000 over the list price to get the offer accepted. And they did win, no concessions, and they waived an inspection. So scary out there, because if the rates do get a little bit better, there's going to be even more competition out there for families. So we're constantly urging families, this little pocket window here, you want to fast forward spring, but we got some snow coming Friday, and maybe that's just a little bit of a window that some of these new buyers need to get into the market.
Yeah, it won't matter because March 1st brings the hope of spring right around the corner. We're seeing a plethora of buyers, John Cole, entering into the market that maybe were on the sidelines. In capital letters, our area remains strong. Listings in some area are still, as Nick Calte mentioned, they're still scarce, John Cole. And what are you seeing in the areas that you're working in?
Well, yeah, we're seeing a lot of values that are offers that are going in over asking, and we actually came across a couple of appraisal guarantees the other day, and that's just an indicator of our market is not as volatile as or will incline or decline as much as some of the Southwest that you brought up before. I mean, you're talking about the areas like Arizona and Texas, and their appreciation was up in the double digits when we were in single digits last year. So for them to come down a little bit is probably, bringing it back to the norm. We're staying the status quo, right? We're keeping values and slowly increasing. We're still seeing 5-6% increases in values. And I think we're going to continue to see that through the spring, summer, and fall. The areas that I'm local in, it's crazy. I'm looking at an appraisal right now. 1,100 square feet in Berkeley that appraised for $340,000. I mean, that didn't happen a couple years ago. So our values are still going up. And like Lisa said, Macomb is where people are going to get the best bang for the buck because they have land to build on. In these areas over here, we don't have any land to build on.
Yeah, that is one of the hot areas you mentioned, John. Berkeley, Michigan. Going out to Nick. Nick, Harvey mentioned to me that you had, a recent spur of activity on there. Talk about the offers that you're seeing, because a hot topic right now, Nick, is that there are concessions coming into play, but people might want to ask for, a seller's, waiving an appraisal, which you know how I feel about that. We don't waive appraisals. So Nick, inspections. My bad, inspections. Tell us the myriad of offers that you're accepting on those purchase agreements. Were there concessions? What type of concessions were there, if any?
Well, the funny thing is the offers I've seen lately that I'm getting accepted are at or over asking, multiple offer situations on a lot of homes, it's just normal. It's not I'm not seeing well over, pockets of areas like you've said are well over, but I'm seeing a lot of multiple offers. The houses that we're winning, we actually are getting a little bit of wiggle room on inspection to ask for a few things or some concessions. And I think there's a sense of reality, even though we're scarce on homes, I think there's a sense of reality for sellers too, that it is a little bit more balanced, because I am writing addendums. I know you guys as lenders don't want to hear this, but I am writing addendums that say, fix this, fix that. And they're getting accepted and worked on too. I just had one, we sent this whole list to somebody, and I couldn't believe they took it on. They're doing the repairs right now. But truly it's pockets of areas that are still strong.
Yeah, I think that's great information. I think that's great information. And Becky, all the offers that we're seeing, and it's running the gamut of a little bit under asking, maybe some concessions too, like you said, 40 over asking. I see that flurry of activity continuing, and I see this market strong. And Becky, we talk about not waiting. In certain areas, you can't wait. You can't wait for interest rates to come down, because they're not good. I'm here to tell you that. We'll get into that on our next segment. But
they're not.
They're not coming down. But Becky Alley, we're not seeing as many listings come on, which means, and if we don't have buyers right now going into spring, maybe there's less competition. But as soon as that sun comes out and it starts getting warmer, the competition's going to heat up. So why wait?
I don't know who's saying there's no buyers out there right now, because that is a big fat fallacy. I got 6 phone calls today, people that were on the fence. They're like, I'm ready to start looking again, because for whatever reason, people think that March is like the witching hour for, buying houses. And so now you're going to see this push of buyers with this lack of inventory, and it is going to get really, really nuts this spring and summer. We've obviously already, kind of projected that because you see it. So I don't think there's a shortage of buyers. It's the buyers are there. It's just the fact that they are out there, they are writing, and they're writing with the other 50 people that are writing on the particular homes that they're wanting on some of these situations. So it's going to get worse as far as buyer competition. So if you can get in there right now as a buyer, if you're listening to this, do yourself a favor and throw your hat in the ring, because it's just going to you're just going to be looking at going a little bit over asking, come, let's just say April, May, and so on and so forth. You have your window is closing very quickly.
Lisa, couldn't agree more with that, Lisa.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're probably looking at the last few weeks of really having that opportunity, right? To get in where you're not, paying gross over asking prices. The rates, yes, they've been climbing a little bit, but they're, expected to continue to go up. So we have these few weeks here for you to get under contract, get locked in, get a house that's still at a great price, still at a great rate, because, and hopefully with a little bit less competition than you're definitely going to have in April and May. So, we actually spoke about it in February. We said, this is the time. Like last month was the time. So if you didn't listen to us last month, listen to us this month, because when you wait till April, you're going to get, thrown in the mix with everybody else.
Get them, Lisa.
I agree with that. Harv?
Yeah, that's how I started it off with, just sort of reading some statistics here. The appreciation is going to be there. Again, no crazy numbers this year, but the National Association of Realtors is very optimistic as they actually see rates averaging out a little bit lower this year in 2023, down to the low sixes. And then they're forecasting for 2024 rates to dip into the 5% range. Now, we hear of that happening now on certain programs, but the truth of the matter is those clients are paying a lot of discount points and they might miss out on the boat. So education piece, getting buyers set up for success in this competitive market that's about to hit us in, like you said, April, May. The numbers are really showing us that it's going to be very, very competitive.
John Cole, want to go to you for a second. You ready?
Yep.
Today you saw I sent out, our friend Barry Habib said, alert to lock today. Got to do it. We got to listen because right now it's extremely volatile right now. The experts do not agree with what the Fed is doing. Anybody who thinks rates are coming down this spring, they're not coming down. There was a temporary, I would say a halt, a little bit, a reprieve. We got a little bit of relief. Rates were down a half a point from their highest earlier, not only this year, but the end of last year. They're going back up right now. In our area, John Cole, as we've heard, Nick Culte say, Becky Alley, Lisa Lawson, Ari Fried, and myself, we all agree it's going to be a hot market in our area. Mortgage interest rates will not stem the tide of the buyers that we have in our area, John Cole.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the rates are the rates. And I had this conversation this morning that 6%, 6.5%, 7%, it's not a bad interest rate, historically speaking. We just got spoiled. We've talked about this over and over again, and people just have to get past it that 6, 7% is not going to be a bad interest rate. And, we all know that interest rates follow inflation, and we know what the inflation reports are going to be coming out. They're a little behind in what we're forecasting right now. And when those reports come out in April and May, I think you're going to start to see some reprieve to the rates a little bit. We're not going to go down to 4%. We're not. It's not going to happen. So the buyers out there, you need to get ready, be able to get in there, purchase this home. We've got a ton of programs that will allow you to get into the home for cheaper for a month or for year 1, year 2, year 3, and then the standard rate. And in the interim of all those adjustments, year 1, 2, and 3, if rates do come down, we can always get you refinanced and get the lower rate. Do not wait because you're going to lose value in the home. The house is going to continue to appreciate. So you buy now at 7% at a $300,000 purchase price, or you wait till the rates come down in the fall or early next year, and you get 5%, and now that house is worth $340,000, $350,000. The payment's now the same. So you shouldn't have waited. You should have got it for less, because when those rates do drop, we can bring you back, refinance you, get you the lower rate.
Yeah, Nick and panel, I want to let you know, I was in an office yesterday. I had a meeting at 3:30 yesterday afternoon in a real estate office. Got to talk with about 17 realtors, brokers, etc. And the sentiment in their office seems to be that, and the reason why I'm all pumped up today is that they're really fired up because they have a lot of buyers that were sitting on the sidelines. And they already have their buyers plugged into certain neighborhoods because they've been working with them for a long period of time. And in talking to this realtor group, and this is a mega group, they had only 16, 17 people there out of about a 100-person office at the time. I love an audience, so I've never met a microphone I didn't like. But the sentiment was as follows. They feel that as soon as the sun comes out, they've got their buyers plugged into certain areas, and it's going to be another strong selling season. They were very, very positive. Nick, tell me about your coworkers, the people that you talk to and see and you're with every day. How are they feeling about this upcoming market?
Yeah, we're all feeling very, very good. Like I say, I had like a mini version of it this past February, where at the end of the day, it's like buyers want homes. No matter what the rate is, at some points, people just want what they want. And like I say, we saw a good version of it in February, and I think March as well. And I kept telling everyone, I'm like, I feel like February is the new May. It was just this influx of buyers. And then like, as the sun comes out and more open houses and more houses get listed here, It's just going to be a strong market. And we do have a good window right now that we're all telling our buyers, like, hey, there's not as much competition. These same homes a few months down the line are going to be more. Rates are probably going to remain the same, and you're going to have more competition. So that means more money out of your pocket. But everyone's motivated. A lot of first time buyers coming to me asking questions, and I think there's going to be a huge boom of that for agents across the board here soon.
Yeah, Becky, you were just in New York with a group of realtors. What was the vibe there? Were they all jacked up about this selling season coming up this spring? Tell us what the vibe was in that big room that you were in.
I mean, anytime you can be in a room with like-minded individuals that are trying to better themselves, but are also like your top producers in the nation, I mean, that speaks volumes, right? No one, when you can be a leader among the leaders, that's really where you're at. So everyone was just looking to engage with active listening skills, trying to have better conversations with buyers. Because sometimes, when we're speaking to our clients, we get so used to doing this every day that you kind of put a blanket over when you're explaining things. And, sometimes the buyers are just not grasping what we're saying because we get so used to doing it and going through the motions. So it's, it was really about just active listening, understanding with that empathy, where's that person coming from and where they're trying to go, and then help them, have the right active conversations, but then also using those conversations to then negotiate, get better terms for our buyers, making sure that the buyers are checking the boxes, and it's not just a seller's world out there, but at the same time, how can you, elevate your seller? So it was a really eye-opening experience. You had a lot of people from Florida, New York, Arizona, North Carolina, Virginia. So literally just getting an idea of what's happening in each of those pockets of our nation was really interesting, because New York's its own little animal and the stuff that they have to go through over there. And then Virginia, they're talking about how houses are just sitting for months. And I was like, it's clearly not here. And then you got Florida, where everyone's buying Airbnb right outside Disney. I mean, it's literally everything is situational. So when, Harry opened it up and you're talking about this national news, you can't get caught up in that, because what is happening in Florida with the Airbnbs and right outside Disney is not what's happening in Virginia and, over in Virginia Beach. I mean, it's just, everything is different. But one thing that's really cool about Michigan and our predominant state, because we are a national lender, so we do have to know what's happening everywhere, but our state is one of the few still very affordable areas. And what's very important is that if we can help our buyers achieve that home ownership before these other people start coming in and gobbling up these properties, what a beautiful thing. Because if the buyer doesn't realize that there is benefit there, the investor surely does, and they're going to take advantage of the affordability here in metropolitan Detroit and throughout the state of Michigan.
And that's exactly, I was on a call, Becky, and you bring it up, I'm gonna throw it to Lisa. That's exactly what, I was on a call the other day with David Stevens, who is the former president of the MBA, he's an independent consultant. He does a lot of consulting work for us now. So I'm lucky enough to be on calls with David and get to direct things directly to him and ask poignant questions. And basically he said the same thing. This is a regional play. What's good in one state that was good for the whole country in 2020 and 21, it's not an across the board situation. So Lisa, we as lenders and Nick as a realtor, we have to really hone in on specifically for, which we never had to do before for a long period of time, because we were spoiled. What's goose isn't necessarily good for the gander here. Okay, you've all heard that. There are specific markets that you have to be knowledgeable in more than ever, because what's happening on one side of Woodward might not necessarily be happening out in Oakland County, in Macomb County, Lisa, or even on the other side of Woodward in Oakland County.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's always been the case to some degree. Even when we were, going rampant and everyone was super busy in like 2020 and 2021, I still think that was always the case. It's just much more predominant and much more pronounced now. Is the market did soften a smidge, right, and kind of slowed down from the insanity that it was over this holiday season, and now we're starting to ramp up again. I think it's really making those nuances pronounced, and you really need to deal with someone who understands the market, has a lot of experience, and understands the nuances. And like, say, in the city of Chicago, every neighborhood is different. Lincoln Park is different. than, you know, down by the water, which is different than the downtown area. So same with downtown Detroit is different than Midtown, which is different than, I mean, so you have to know these nuances and you have to understand them to be a good lender and to be a good realtor and make sure that our buyer is getting exactly what they want, you know, and exactly where they want to live.
Yeah, Harvey, one of the hot topics, and you know, Lisa said it's more important now than ever before, at least in the last 2 years, but I feel ever, that our borrowers are educated, Harvey. Go into that. You're talking to people that, again, and I know this is a hot topic with you, they're getting the wrong information, and we have to give people the right information. And all they have to do is make a call, correct?
Just have to give us a phone call or listen in to our Hardcore Mortgage show that we've been doing for 23 years. It's a 50-50 world, Harry. 50% of the families out there are really engaged and want to understand all the different steps so that they understand in the future how they're going to be able to refinance that mortgage. When they close on their purchase, they want to know what happens after, when that payment's due, how the deed is sent to them, if they want to make changes to insurance, how taxes and their homestead exemption falls into play. Again, lots of information just to throw at somebody who's new at this. So for those 50% of the buyers out there that really engage, we do find the statistics show us they have more success at home ownership. They're able to change their mortgage and refinance it, do the cash out transactions they want to do in the future because they have that knowledge behind them. And we just are constantly educating and pushing people that way. So we hope to see more and more families getting on board and asking more questions.
Excellent, Harvey. I like that. I'm going to go around. This is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fair Independent Mortgage Corporation. We are an equal housing lender. 289 is our MLS number. Let's go around the horn a little bit. We'll ask for final thoughts, and I'll ask Becky and Harvey who they've got coming on the show this weekend. So let's go back to Nick. I want your final thoughts for Wednesday, March 1st, first day of March. I'm going to declare it spring, even though it's 20 days in advance, because I'm so sick and tired of the winter. Let's go.
Yeah, me too. And like I say, with you declaring spring is going to come the spring market. It seemed like it was last month, and moving forward, it's going to be very, very busy. Again, anyone listening, we have a pocket of time where now is the time to beat the competition. But if not, I mean, we're all going to see it here soon. There's going to be a lot of buyers, and people are very motivated.
Excellent. We appreciate you having on the show, Becky Elliott.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, spring has sprung. I feel like it sprung at the end of January, multiple offers everywhere that at least in the areas that our buyers are looking in. So get in there now before you get it, before it really gets out of hand. Right now, we still have a little bit more negotiating power for the buyers. The key point is to understand that this has always been a seller's market. It hasn't stopped being a seller's market because of the lack of inventory. So if you're a buyer, throw your hat in the ring before it gets out of hand, so that way you can make sure you are having successes, because there is that little bit of negotiating power. You can see a house one or two times before you're making a decision, making sure you're making calm, sound decisions. Never waive that home inspection, because you never know what's lurking in those walls and everything else like that. But again, it's all situational, what works best for you. So reach out to us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We're here to handhold you, make you understand, have the right conversations, whether it works for you now or 5 years. Let's set up a game plan for you.
Appreciate that, Becky. Thank you. Lisa Lawson, final words for March 1st.
Yeah, and like we always say, you don't know what you don't know. There's people who are afraid to make the call because they think they don't qualify, or they think they don't have enough money. We have solutions for almost everything. There's down payment assistance programs. There's great, programs for first-time home buyers who don't need down payment assistance with subsidized rates. And, a lot of these people were getting tax refunds. Use your tax refund and get out of the renting situation. Stop wasting money and invest in yourself, and invest in the equity of your life and in your future, and buy a home, because that home is going to pay you back 100 times fold than paying somebody else's mortgage. So just make the first call. It doesn't have to be scary. We'll hold your hand. We'll get you through it.
Such sound advice. Proud to be associated with all you people, because we give really good advice. John Cole.
My last piece is going to be an update on our caller from Saturday. As we know, the caller ended up being a client of mine, and was questioning whether or not he should be putting his house on the market now or later. Well, after our sound advice on the show and the sound advice of his current realtor, he's got the house coming up on the market this weekend.
There we go.
Already 6 showings ready for Saturday. People begging to get in to see his house on Friday.
Yep.
and then also cash buyers knocking on his door. So I think we were right in telling him to get the house on sooner than later. And it just goes to show that every market, like we said, is a little bit different, and this market's going to be hot.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that our client Bill got did great advice, and he's following through with that. Harvey Freed, what's coming on the show for Saturday morning on 97.1 FM from 9 to 10?
Sure. We've got Stacy Taylor coming on with Quest Realty out of Nick's office, actually, and she's going to be joined and bring on her friend Justin Bankston, who we've done a lot of work with at Fidelity National Title. And Justin's going to try to sexy up a little bit on the title insurance and tell everyone what's going on out there with deeds, get recorded. And of course, sometimes the good weather brings on divorce season. So in divorce situations, if you're on title or on the note, he's going to clarify a lot of title stuff out there. So we're looking forward to hearing from all you listeners out there live on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so again, who's on the show, Harvey? Becky, you, Stacy, who else?
Justin Bankston, he is a stud. I'm really excited. He's for a title company, and he is absolutely amazing.
Beautiful. All right, great, everyone. I really appreciate having you on. Solid advice as usual. This is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, along with Becky Alley, Lisa Lawson, John Cole, Harvey Freed, Nick Culte from Quest Realty, our special guest today.
Thank you.
Roberto Moshane, our producer director in the booth. Want to thank everybody. And listen, spring has sprung. It's March 1st. Don't wait. Find that house. We'll get you qualified. 1-800 low rate. Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Banker. The best mortgage banker. We'll see you soon.